What if we told you there's a bill being pushed in Congress that could slash your taxes, boost your paycheck, and even give you deductions on your car loan? But it might also strip healthcare from millions and explode the national debt? Yep, we're talking about Trump's tax plan. A proposal that's got Wall Street buzzing, Washington on edge, and everyday Americans asking, wait, is this good or bad for me? Stick around because we're breaking down exactly what Trump's tax plan is, how it works, the strategies behind it, and what it means for your wallet and your future. If you are excited to watch the video, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel now. What is Trump's tax plan? Let's rewind to 2017. That's when President Trump passed his flagship tax law, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, a massive overhaul of the U.S. tax system. It slashed corporate taxes, cut individual rates, and doubled the standard deduction. Fast forward to today, Trump wants a sequel. His new proposal, the One Big Beautiful Bill, aims to build on that foundation and go even bigger. So, what's inside this new package? A lot. Trump wants to extend the 2017 cuts, raise the standard deduction, increase the child tax credit, and eliminate federal taxes on tips, a move that targets service industry workers. He also proposes allowing deductions for car loan interest, especially for U.S. assembled vehicles, and tax breaks on Social Security income, overtime pay, and even estate taxes. On paper, it sounds like a middle-class dream. But dreams come with a price. The cost. Who's paying for it? Every tax cut needs funding, and this one isn't cheap. According to the Nonpartisan Joint Committee on Taxation, Trump's plan could reduce federal revenue by $4.9 trillion over the next decade, and that's before factoring in new campaign promises. Texas Congressman Chip Roy warns the true cost could balloon to $20 trillion if all the proposals are enacted. So where does that money come from? Here's the catch. The plan shifts the burden by cutting programs like Medicaid, food stamps, SNAP, and green energy initiatives. It also pulls tax breaks away from private universities and pushes more financial responsibility onto state governments. In other words, the bill might give with one hand and take away with the other, particularly from the country's most vulnerable populations. What's in it for you? Let's zoom in on how this affects your wallet. If you're an average American, you might notice a few extra dollars in your paycheck. The standard deduction would increase by $2,000. The child tax credit would rise from $2,000 to $2,500, and the estate tax exemption would jump to $15 million. Married couples could deduct up to $30,000 in state and local taxes, SALT, and tips, often under-the-table income, would become tax-free. Seniors earning under $75,000 would get a $4,000 tax break on Social Security income. Trump's team insists this puts money back in the hands of hardworking Americans. But critics argue the real winners are much higher up the income ladder. That brings us to the core of the debate. Who really benefits the most? Who benefits the most? This is where things get a little unbalanced. The top income tax rate, currently 39.6%, would drop to just 25%. That's a huge cut for the wealthiest Americans. Corporate taxes would fall from 35% to 15%, and business income from real estate or partnerships would also face just a 15% rate. If you're a millionaire, a CEO, or own a large business, you're getting champagne service. But for low and middle income earners, the gains are smaller, and often temporary. While you might see a bump in take-home pay, the social safety net you rely on could be cut. It's a plan that favors the top while tossing breadcrumbs to the rest. Critics warn, don't be fooled by the shiny packaging. The strategy behind the plan. One thing Trump excels at? Branding. He doesn't just propose legislation, he sells it like a product. Calling this the One Big Beautiful Bill adds that emotional, patriotic flair he's famous for. He's pitching it as a win for working Americans, often shouting, "We must win," and "This is for America's working people." But behind the slogans is a strategic maneuver. He's trying to appease wealthy donors with huge tax cuts, win over middle-class service workers with gimmicky incentives, and punish institutions seen as liberal, like Ivy League universities and green energy programs. It's populism wrapped in policy, with a whole lot of fine print, hidden details, and controversies. Let's unpack that fine print. The plan includes a 21% tax on private university endowments, which critics say is a jab at elite institutions. It also eliminates tax-exempt status for any group labeled a terrorist supporter by the State Department, which some fear could be politically abused. One of the most controversial moves? Children of undocumented immigrants, even if they're born in the U.S., thus would be excluded from the child tax credit. That affects over 4.5 million kids. And then there's the overhaul of Medicaid and SNAP eligibility. New work requirements mean adults up to age 64 must log 80 hours per month of work or community engagement to qualify. Eligibility checks would happen twice a year, a bureaucratic maze that could push millions off coverage. In fact, projections estimate 8.6 million Americans could lose Medicaid under the new rules. Critics say the bill isn't just about tax reform. It's a stealth attack on social welfare, the debt and economic fallout. You can't talk tax policy without addressing the elephant in the room, the national debt. The Tax Foundation estimates the plan would add $10.18 trillion in debt over a decade, and that's assuming generous economic growth. The Tax Policy Center puts that number even higher, $11.2 trillion when you include added interest payments. Here's the bottom line. Unless Trump can find nearly $10 trillion in spending cuts, something even Republicans doubt, the plan deepens America's debt crisis. With interest rates climbing, this could lead to serious long-term damage. Reduced investment in infrastructure, cuts to education, and higher borrowing costs for future generations. The political battle ahead. As of now, 11 House committees are scrambling to finalize the bill before the Memorial Day deadline. But the GOP isn't united. Senator Josh Hawley called the Medicaid cuts morally wrong and politically suicidal. Other moderates think the SALT deduction changes don't go far enough. And some conservatives are worried the bill might backfire with working-class voters. Democrats, meanwhile, are preparing for war. They say the bill is a corporate giveaway disguised as tax relief and plan to oppose it with everything they've got. What's at stake? A major ideological clash over who gets what in America and who gets left behind. So, is Trump's tax plan a bold strategy to revive the middle class? Or a glittering package for the rich tied with red, white, and blue ribbon? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you support Trump's tax plan? Like this video if it helped you understand what's really going on. Subscribe for more deep dives into the policies shaping your wallet and your world.